Hello again, and welcome to Next Door, our channel where we delve deeply into everything Heartland related. I'm your host, Emma, and today's video is one of the most emotional and heartwarming we've ever done. That's right, Ty Borden is back after years of heartbreak, silence, and the unknown. We are treated to the heartfelt return that we have all been anticipating in Season 19, Episode 1. This episode alters everything, whether you are still wiping away tears or screaming in joy. We're breaking down how Ty Borden returns, Amy's heart-wrenching reaction, and how his comeback impacts Lindy, Jack, Lou, Georgie, and Tim, plus the emotional and raw conversation between Ty and Amy that will absolutely melt your heart. So grab some tissues, make sure you've hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and drop a comment below with your favorite moment from the episode. Now, let's dive in. The episode opens quietly with a peaceful morning at Heartland. Amy is feeding the horses, Lindy is playing with her dog, and Jack is tinkering with the fence, a typical start to a Heartland day. The tranquil routine, however, is disrupted when a figure appears at the end of the drive. At first, no one recognizes him. He's dusty, wearing a wide-brimmed hat, and looks like he's been through hell and back. As he walks closer, Amy freezes. The camera slowly pans in on her expression, a mix of disbelief, fear, and hope. She is crying as she holds onto the stable door with one hand. Jack notices her reaction and turns to see what she's looking at, and he drops his tool. Time stands still. The man walking toward them is Ty Borden. He looks older, tired, but unmistakably alive. Amy doesn't move. He responds, "Hey, Amy," as she whispers Ty. That's when everything changes. Amy rushes toward Ty, overwhelmed. The moment is both heartwarming and heartbreaking. She throws her arms around him but quickly pulls back, afraid it's a dream. As she examines his face to determine whether he is real, her hands shake. Ty, equally moved, assures her that it is indeed him. However, the reunion is far from straightforward. Amy breaks down in his arms, crying from years of pain and suppressed hope. She demands to know where he's been, why he disappeared, and how he could let them believe he was gone. Ty explains that a group of far-flung veterinarians conducting fieldwork deep in northern Canada saved him after he was shot. They saved his life, but he suffered memory loss and didn't regain his full identity for months. He chose to recover in silence until he could return to full health because he had no means of contacting anyone by the time he remembered who he was. Amy's heart is torn between joy and despair as she listens. As she searches for the truth, her eyes lock with his. It's one of the rawest, most emotionally complex scenes in Heartland history. Lindy's reaction is perhaps the most beautiful moment of the entire episode. Just as her mother and father are embracing, the young girl walks out. Confused by the emotion in the air, she walks cautiously toward them, eyeing the man beside her mom. Ty kneels down and softly says, "Hi, Lindy, I'm your dad." For a moment, silence. Then, as if she had always felt his presence, Lindy's eyes light up with recognition rather than confusion. When she enters his embrace, it's like they've never been apart. Amy sheds a tear as she watches her daughter meet the father she thought she would never see again. This moment becomes the heart of the episode. Ty melts into Lindy's embrace as she clings to him like she has known him all her life. No words are needed. The bond between father and daughter is instantly reignited, a pure connection that transcends the years and the distance. Behind them, the entire Heartland family gathers quietly to admire. Jack's reaction is quiet but deeply powerful. Heartland's emotional anchor is typically the man who raised Amy and Ty, but even Jack Bartlett is shaken at this point. He doesn't say much at first. Instead, he walks over to Ty and tries not to cry as he pulls Ty into a tight embrace. "I buried you," he whispers, voice trembling. "I rekindled your memory," Ty replies. "I know. I felt it." Jack does not inquire for clarifications. He does not require them. He just holds Ty, welcoming him back as a son who's finally home. In the barn, Jack and Ty have a one-on-one conversation later in the episode. Jack talks about how he tried to stay strong for Amy and Lindy, But losing Ty broke something in him. He is reassured by Ty that he is returning permanently and that he intends to recover all of his losses. It's a moment of forgiveness and rebuilding between two men who have always shared a deep father-son connection. As he wipes a tear from his eye and mutters, "Damn glad you're home, son," Jack's stoic exterior finally breaks. Lou arrives shortly after the news breaks. Her jaw drops when she enters the ranch and sees Ty standing in the barnyard. She shouts, "You're alive!" as she sprints to him and wraps her arms around his neck. The sisters share a tearful moment, and Lou expresses both happiness and pain. She says, "You should have told us. Do you know what this did to Amy?" I ask. Ty nods, acknowledging the hurt he caused. Georgie's reaction is even more emotional. She looks at Ty from a distance, frozen, struggling to believe her eyes. When she finally approaches, Ty opens his arms and she runs into them. Georgie was like a daughter to him, and now that he's back, she sobs in his arms, saying, "I missed you every day." Ty comforts her, apologizing for not being there, and telling her he's proud of the woman she's become. The reunion is deeply personal, a reminder of how interconnected the Heartland family truly is. Tim's reaction is the strongest of all the characters. He storms into the barn, grabs Ty by the collar, and pushes him against the stall door. "Where in the world have you gone?" he screams. "How could you let Amy suffer like that?" Ty doesn't fight back. He calmly repeats his explanations for the injury, memory loss, and recovery. Tim, emotional and angry, struggles to understand. He loved Ty like his own son, but also blamed himself for not protecting him. Over time, Tim softens. Later that day, they talk to each other in the paddock. Tim admits he grieved for Ty every single day, and the guilt consumed him. Ty forgives him, saying no one was to blame. Life took place. "I'm just glad I returned." The tension between them dissipates at that point. Tim gives Ty a bear hug while hard patting his back to cover his own tears. It's a reunion built on rage, regret, and finally, redemption. Ty and Amy sit on the porch together later that evening under the stars. It's the first time they've truly been alone since his return. Amy is quiet, distant. Ty reaches for her hand, and she hesitates. "I don't know how to do this," she says. "I built a life without you. I had to." Ty acknowledges her suffering with a nod. "I know, no. And I don't think things will change overnight, but I never stopped loving you." Amy looks at him, her walls slowly falling. "Do you know how many nights I cried for you? How many times Lindy asked why her daddy was gone?" Her voice cracks. Ty leans closer. "And every night, I whispered your name to the sky. I just prayed I'd find my way back." Amy finally breaks. She leans into him, tears flowing freely, and they hold each other like no time has passed. "I missed you so much," she says. "Let's not waste another second," Ty whispers back. That conversation marks the beginning of their healing, a promise to rebuild their love. News travels fast in a town like Hudson. By the next morning, nearly everyone knows that Ty Borden is alive. People stop by Heartland just to see it with their own eyes. Scott, Ty's longtime friend and mentor, is one of the first to visit. The moment they lock eyes, Scott is speechless. "I thought I buried my best friend," he says, choking up. Ty walks over and pulls him into a hug. "I thought I was gone too," he whispers. The two share a heartfelt moment, reconnecting as if no time has passed. Caleb arrives next, visibly stunned. "You better be real, man," he says with a smile, before punching Ty lightly on the arm. "You owe me a beer and about 5 years of catching up." Even Lisa shows up with Jack, embracing Ty warmly. The people of Hudson love Ty, and his return brings shock, tears, and immense joy. But there's also quiet pain. Ty learns about the memorial services held in his honor, the ways the community grieved. It hits him deeply. He never imagined how far his loss had rippled. Now, back in the world he left behind, Ty realizes he has a second chance not just with his family, but with the entire community. A few days later, Amy and Ty walk together through the fields at Heartland. The golden sun sets behind them, casting warm light over the rolling hills, a place they once rode horses and dreamed about forever. This time, their walk is quieter. They don't hold hands, not yet, but their connection is undeniable. Amy begins to open up about how she coped after he left. She talks about the loneliness, the night she stayed awake, unable to breathe from the grief. Ty listens with a quiet intensity, every muscle in his body still, every breath measured. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't try to explain or defend himself. He just listens, really listens, because he knows Amy deserves that much. She's waited too long for answers, and he owes her the truth, not in words, but in presence. For a long time, Amy begins softly, her voice trembling under the weight of all the unsaid things. I couldn't ride Spartan without crying. Her gaze drops to the ground. Lindy would ask me why, and I'd tell her he missed you too. Ty's throat tightens. He swallows hard, his chest rising and falling as he tries to speak past the knot of emotion. His voice is raw when it comes. I missed you both so much, Ames. Every single day. There wasn't a moment I didn't think about you. I didn't want to stay away. He pauses, struggling for the right words. I wasn't strong enough to come back broken. Not then. His honesty, unguarded and vulnerable, breaks through something in Amy that had been locked away. That wall she'd built to survive the ache of his absence begins to crumble. And in its place, something softer emerges, something like forgiveness. You don't have to be perfect, she whispers, eyes shining with unshed tears. You just have to be here. She reaches for his hand. He grips it tightly, as if anchoring himself to this moment, to her. And together, they begin to walk not away from the past, but through it. Side by side. Starting, at last, the slow journey toward peace. In the days that follow, it's not just Amy and Ty who begin to heal. Lindy, young and intuitive, blossoms in ways no one could have predicted. It's as if her world, once muted by grief and confusion, begins to fill with color again. We see her smile more, laugh louder. Her little hands grip crayons with purpose as she draws picture after picture, stories she once only shared with Amy, now spilling out in eager, animated conversation with Ty. It's like watching a bridge being rebuilt between father and daughter, one word, one wiggle, one shared moment at a time. Ty takes her writing on Spartan, just like he used to do with Amy. There's a timeless beauty to it, a sense that legacy is not just passed on, but lived through love. The way Lindy leans into Ty's arms as Spartan gallops across the fields, her laughter echoing into the wind, is pure Heartland magic. In one especially tender scene, Lindy draws a picture of her family, her first. It's simple, childlike, and perfect. Mommy, Daddy, and Lindy, all smiling, holding hands under a bright yellow sun. Amy finds the picture tucked between pages of a storybook and, overwhelmed by the quiet beauty of it, cries softly, not from sadness, but from a joy so deep it aches. Ty becomes a constant presence, reading Lindy bedtime stories, brushing her hair out of her eyes, staying with her until sleep finds her. These moments, small to some, are monumental for Lindy. One night, as he tucks her in and leans down to kiss her forehead, she clutches his hand and whispers, "Daddy, don't leave again." His eyes sting, but his voice is steady. "Never again, sweetheart," he says. "I'm home. That promise, simple, heartfelt, becomes the anchor of Lindy's new world. A world no longer shaped by absence, but by connection, by healing, by love, wife. But coming home is only the beginning for Ty. He knows this. The road ahead is filled with shadows. He still has to face the trauma, the silence, the fear he carried alone for so long. With Amy's unwavering support, he returns to the place where everything changed, the spot where he was shot. The land is quiet. The wind rustles the grass. It should feel haunted. But instead, Ty feels calm. As he stands there, memories flash, sirens, pain, darkness. And yet, what he feels most isn't fear. It's peace. "This place almost took everything from me," he says quietly. but it also gave me the strength to come back. Amy reaches for his hand, her voice strong and steady. Ty, you did more than survive. You found your way home. It's a symbolic turning point. A reclamation. Ty doesn't just revisit the site of his trauma, he rewrites it. With Amy by his side, he begins to move forward, no longer haunted by the past, but fueled by hope. And in true Heartland fashion, the town rallies. A small welcome home gathering is planned at Maggie's diner. Lisa, Lou, and Katie string up decorations while old photos of Ty line the walls, from his early days working at Heartland to his wedding with Amy to treasured moments with Lindy. The community that never stopped believing in him is there in full force. When Ty, Amy, and Lindy walk in, the room erupts in cheers. Scott raises a glass, his voice full of emotion. To the man who showed us that even in our darkest hour, there's always a way home. Ty speaks briefly, but his words land like a heartbeat. You gave me something to come back to, he says, his eyes sweeping across the room. A home. A purpose. A place where love never gave up on me. Laughter, hugs, music, and shared stories fill the diner. Even Tim, ever the skeptic, has a rare smile as he wraps an arm around Lo and says, "This is how Heartland heals together." Later that night, Amy and Ty slip away to the lake where they used to ride horses together as teenagers. The moonlight dances on the water. They sit in silence at first, the past hanging between them like a gentle mist. I know I want to face the future with you, Amy says, resting her head on Ty's shoulder. But I don't know what it holds. Ty looks at her, his expression soft, full of gratitude and quiet resolve. I've been given another chance, he says, and I'm not going to waste it. From his pocket, he pulls out a small, worn charm, the one Amy gave him years ago. The edges are faded, the surface weathered, but it's still intact. I kept this with me the whole time, he says. Whenever I looked at it, I thought of you, of home, of family. Amy's tears fall freely now, not from heartbreak, but from healing. From the deep knowing that even when Ty was gone, their love endured. The camera slowly pans out, the two of them wrapped in each other's arms, the stars reflected on the lake's still surface. It's a quiet, powerful ending to a deeply emotional episode. Thank you for joining us for this heartfelt breakdown of Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. I'm Emma from Next Flying, and if this story touched you the way it touched me, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another moment with the family we all love. Until next time, keep believing in the power of family, the beauty of second chances, and the unbreakable spirit of Heartland. The camera slowly pans out, the two of them wrapped in each other's arms, the stars reflected on the lake's still surface. It's a quiet, powerful ending to a deeply emotional episode, one that reminds us that healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just being seen, held, and finally heard. Thank you for joining us for this heartfelt breakdown of Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. I'm Emma from NEXTDOOR, and if this story moved you the way it moved me, please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment below to share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to NEXTDOOR for more in-depth Heartland content, behind-the-scenes insight, and DI. Emotional recaps. Tap that notification bell so you never miss an update as we follow every twist and turn of Season 19 and beyond. Until next time, keep believing in the power of family, the beauty of second chances, and the unshakable spirit of Heartland.